From Colm Fingleton, you're from the RTS substation group in Timahoe in County Laois, I gather. You're pretty clear this is about wind power, aren't you?
Yeah, thanks, Miriam. I have currently 3 power lines myself. I have 2 400 kV pylons and a 400 line, obviously. And 4 years ago, EirGrid came into our area in Rathneska, the site of the plough match in County Laois, and said they wanted to put in a facility that would equivalent to power the whole of Dublin, that can take 16 power lines in an area in the middle of nowhere. And for 4 years, they would not explain to us why they were building the facility. At no stage would they give us any answers on it. And we had to do our own research. And we had a team of 10 people, 3 engineers in that group, working on that for 4 years. And we did the research. We went as far as Europe to find out about the interconnectors. And what we can see very clearly, that the 3.2 billion that's been spent on the national grid, the large majority of it has been spent as a motorway for industrial wind farms. And Eamon Ryan knows that. He's known because you were at the start of this thing, and you've met us before, and you didn't answer our concerns, Eamon Ryan, when you were a minister at the time. And what we're saying here is that there's, in the Midlands alone, they're talking about 2,500 600-foot high turbines. It's absolutely outrageous. It's the same in Mayo. They're talking about 400 turbines of the same scale in Mayo. And all this is about exporting. And the GridLink project is pure and simple to get the power, Miriam, down to Wexford. There's none of the counties on the GridLink will benefit whatsoever from the GridLink project, because it goes directly to Wexford, from Wexford to Wales. And then it goes from Wexford to Knockgraha, and Knockgraha to France. And we have in the pipeline 5 to 6 interconnectors between France and the UK to export power. And once these wind companies get a hold, Miriam, there is no stopping.
But Colm, of course, that isn't to do with Grid25.
It has got to do with Grid25, Miriam, because the 400 kV network is the one that's the most contentious here, because EirGrid are going to refuse to put it underground. We can talk about underground and all night, but EirGrid even today have more than said that they're not going to consider putting it underground. So we have we would be calling for it. And Miriam, there's over 200 groups, Miriam, around the country now. 200 groups all across rural Ireland, and they are now cementing together. And this is going to be one of the biggest rural campaigns ever seen in Ireland, because what's the industrialisation of the Midlands and the West and everywhere around the country with wind farms has to stop. And we can't go on at this level. And Eamon Ryan, I'm sorry, but this has gone too far. And there has to be a cost-benefit analysis on Grid25. And I think Pat Rabbitte is going to have to step back from this, because us people who are involved in it have no confidence anymore that Pat Rabbitte has our interests at heart.